Hi guys, so today I'm going to talk about long distance relationships and also online relationships. Mostly my experience, and I wanted to share it to you. First of all, I'm a bit of a control freak, not a bit but a lot, and I'm antisocial and things, and I have never tried it before until I started my channel. And of course the most serious online relationship I have is with my boyfriend Michael. And I mean, when I started my channel, I never thought that people would contact me in my email. And before Michael discovered my channel, I did email to some guys, and some girls also emailed me. And I flirted with some of them, and yeah, they flirted first and I flirted back, and we emailed, and I even talked with them in the phone. So, but I never really thought it would get serious because I'm very careful. As some of you know, I was single and celibate for 14 years before Michael found me. So I don't get into a relationship that easy, and especially a long distance online relationship. I'm not saying it's more dangerous, but it's harder to know how the other is when you have the distance in between you. Any relationship is hard, I think, and in some relationships, I mean, I've had long-term relationships years before I really got to know my ex-husband. So it doesn't mean that it's an online long-distance relationship that it's more dangerous or worse. And what helped me was that Michael really is serious with me. So if you're a control freak and you're thinking, should I pursue this relationship? There are ways to really know if you're ready for a relationship like that. Like if you're a control freak like me, then you wouldn't do anything you don't want. Like, you would know, even if it's just emails, you would know if this person is authentic by the way he or she answers back, how often they email you. Michael and I, until now, we email each other sometimes 10 times a day. And what helped me is that we call each other quite often. We FaceTime about once every second day, sometimes every day, and sometimes a few times a day. So that helps with the distance. And especially if you're a control freak, you need that intense contact. So I mean, I don't feel that it's worse than any relationship. It's harder if you're a control freak, because you want to, you can text and you can call, but especially if you have if you don't have the same time. Like Michael lives in the States, so we have about 9 hours of distance. So I can't just call him because he might be sleeping, and vice versa. So you have to think of things like that. And also, in the beginning of a relationship and you're both flirting, you wouldn't know really the impact of such a relationship, because everything is exciting, like, oh, when will he call, when can I call, and things like that. And I mean, I was serious with him even from the start, but I didn't know it would be this serious. So if you are thinking of pursuing a long distance and online relationship, know yourself if you can deal with the waiting part, because I'm not emotional, I'm very rational, but yet there are feelings involved, because you can't just go to that person because of the distance, because of the time. So if you're not very serious with the other person, I wouldn't recommend a long distance online relationship, because you could get hurt, the other person can get hurt. I would only recommend it if both of you are serious with each other, because then you would be wasting a lot of your time, because you would be emailing. I feel that you have to invest more in an online long distance relationship, because it's so easy to misunderstand each other. So if you're not serious, then tell that person, and then let go of that person, even though it's painful. Another tip I can give is to meet each other, not right away, because it's like with a normal relationship, you need to know each other first. I would suggest after a few months that you meet each other, like after 6 months. I know it sounds a long time, but if you're a control freak like me, I think that's best. So that, and don't keep it secret from your family and friends. Tell them you have this relationship. What do they think? I mean, what they say will not affect your decision, but tell them. So for safety's sake also, because you don't know what will happen. Even though you're in love with that person, tell them when you finally meet each other. Tell them where, when, so that you are safe. And also, so they can talk with you. You need feedback. You need to know what others feel about that person. And if it's possible, let them meet that person. Because in any relationship, it can't survive, to just be in a bubble. And at first when you're very in love, yes, but you have to include your love life with your family and friends, even if you're antisocial like me. So and some people would say that, your relationship is surviving because it's long distance, because it's online relationship, so it's like always in a honeymoon stage. For me though, being in a long distance online relationship is putting me in a very vulnerable state. So I'm only doing it because I am very in love with Michael, and Michael is very in love with me. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. Only with Michael, because I trust him, and because we have already visited each other. So he has been here in Denmark, and I have been in the States. So a relationship like that requires more work. It requires more money. And ironically, it requires more time. Even though you're far away from each other, you might think, it's easy to be in that relationship. You only need to be with each other for a few minutes, online. Not if you're serious about that person, then it requires a lot of your time. I'm that kind of person who invest time on people that I love. So for me, that's okay. I don't mingle, I don't party, I don't get friends. I choose to not be even with my family and relatives other than my daughter. So know that a long distance online relationship is not a quick, instant relationship or something you can have, not serious, because the other person will eventually know if you're not serious about them. And I mean, I wouldn't want to hurt anyone, and especially not Michael. So if I wasn't serious with him, I wouldn't. I mean, I would have let him go a long time ago. So, and I don't know for other people, for me, it's like, it's so hard also to be away from him. I knew even when we were just emailing that I love him, but you know, when you meet that person, then you really can confirm it, you know, with all your senses. Before, it was only with phone calls, emails, and text, and we also sent private videos. But meeting each other, and I also met his family, so it helps a lot. And yeah, as I said, I wouldn't recommend it if you're not serious. So how would a relationship like that survive? For me, it can only survive with a lot of contact, as I said before, a lot of emails, a lot of FaceTime, text, and also meeting each other. And yeah, I need something more, not just emailing, texting, and meeting each other like, you know, in vacations. I wouldn't want to waste my time or Michael's time. So for me, I couldn't be in a long distance online relationship for 5 years or things. It should continue to a more serious state. So for me, that helps that I know Michael and I have plans. So if you're like that too, you know, tell the other what you're feeling, because the other person might also be thinking the same thing. But you know, since you're not meeting each other every day, it's a lot easier to misunderstand each other. And of course, the best thing is to meet that person more often. But you know, it does cost a lot of money to visit, and so that's why I'm so thankful we have FaceTime. He has iPhone, and I also bought my iPhone, so that helps a lot. But still, we do sometimes, even though we are so much alike, we still misunderstand each other. So if you're a very sensitive person, like you're not rational, if you're very emotional, which I'm not, but still I misunderstand. Be careful with starting an online long distance relationship, because since you can't touch that person, you can't, you know, make up and, you know, like live, it's more hurtful. I feel like it's more hurtful if you have, you know, your boyfriend or girlfriend in front of you. It's so easy to, you know, it's so easy to quarrel and then make up afterwards. While Michael and I, even though FaceTime is for free, of course we can't really risk fighting a lot. I mean, we have never fought like, you know, aggressive. We're not like that because we are both rational. Yeah, we have, like, of course, cried and misunderstood each other live and online, but yeah, know that you can't really like argue at, you know, at the same way, because yeah, you can't really just be on FaceTime and, you know, and waste a lot of your time. Although Michael and I, when we FaceTime, we usually FaceTime like for 1 or 2 hours each time. And before, when we didn't have FaceTime, we only called each other, so we would talk with each other for about 4 hours, because you would like miss a lot. You don't see the facial expressions of the other, so you have to talk more. So I mean, that could be so stressful because he and I are both busy. So even though we needed that, we were so thankful. We started FaceTiming when I came back from the States, when I visited him. And I'm so happy for that. because yeah, it helps a lot. So would I recommend a long distance online relationship? And I definitely would, especially if you're a rational person. It doesn't matter if you're a girl or a boy. If you're rational, then yes. And if you are like willing to invest time and money and effort to such a relationship, then I would recommend it. Otherwise, you would get hurt and you would hurt someone with such a relationship. I had like short online relationships before. I never met them, but just in phone calls. And it can be, if it's not the right person, that's why I'm saying if you're like that, if you're like that. If it's not with the right person, you would get disappointed. Okay, I did not cry when I ended things with those guys, because I don't ever force myself. If I feel that this person is not right for me, I end it before it gets serious. So that's what I would suggest to you. So if you're not serious about the person, end it immediately. Don't think that it would hurt the other person. Yes, it would, but I mean, you would hurt more that person more and yourself if you don't tell them the truth, because it's still a relationship, it's still a human being. So I mean, it's better to end things when it's not so serious. And don't ever force yourself to do things. Like if it's only the other person who wants to meet you and you're not feeling, and don't do it, because it's not like any relationship where you can ask your friends, oh, what do you think? It's almost only your opinion, so it's more risky. It's riskier to invest in such a relationship. So I would only recommend a relationship like that if you have strong feelings for the other person, and if you feel that the person loves you the same, and if both of you are investing time, effort, and of course money, because time is money. And maybe you will be sending each other gifts and things, which Michael and I have done. So yeah, do it if it's for the right person. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.